So the interesting thing about the stacking community is they come from all walks of life, all geographic regions, all income levels, all education levels. You really can't shoehorn the stacking community into just one particular group. The interesting part with that is that, again, most of the videos talk, about price and investing and, different pros and cons of stacking, which is great. But the part that you kind of forget and kind of leave off the table is that that's an actual real person on the other end of the camera. That's a person making that video. And one of the interesting things I think about the stacking community is there are so many different channels that relay particular stories from their own real life, as opposed to just generic topics off of about stacking. So I think it's pretty common, although it's not talked about often, that there are some pretty formative videos that everyone's in your own stacking experience you'll come across every once in a while, that really shape your view of like stackers and stacking and the mentality that people who do stack have. One of these videos that I wanted to share today is from a channel that I had seen a few years back. I think it was pre-pandemic. That this is the Proof Yale of Beaufort, the Royal Tudor Beasts. This is one of the last proofs with the Queen on it before she passed. But the video that I wanted to share is actually pretty interesting. It's a stacker that he was making a lot of content about 2 years ago. I don't even know if he still stacks. But this story that he ended up telling about himself was actually really, really interesting. Really told a lot about himself, who he was, what his journey was. And I found it so endearing. Now, I've seen a few of these types of videos. This particular stacker's style reminds me a lot of 2 is 1. And it's funny because one of his videos, I think, was a collaboration with 2 is 1. So I'm not sure if this person turned into 2 is 1 or is actually 2 is 1, or I have no idea, or maybe they know each other or something. But the way that he tells his story, and interestingly, the way that he kind of, you get the vibe of how people think and, what their thought processes are. He kind of reminds me of 2 is 1. At the time, I think I had seen maybe a video or two from 2 is 1, but I really, didn't know much about it. Now, currently, I'm a big fan of 2 is 1. Kind of gives it to you straight, no hype, no politics, just, interesting stacking stories or concepts or things like that. And 2 is 1 too had a lot of these types of stories on his channel. He had a story about, I think he was going to buy a bike for his son, and he was buying it from someone else, and he went over to their house to go buy it, and he offered the kid who was selling it the cash that he was asking for, or gold, in a higher amount. And I don't remember, it's so funny, I don't remember if the kid took the gold or if he took the money. I think he took the cash, but I could be wrong. But again, these types of stories really relay it back to real life, of what it is to be a stacker, and the pros and cons as you look at these onzas. What is it with the Mexicans and the topless motifs? I mean, definitely not a hater. It's a real good look. I'm just wondering. But something interesting about the Libertad while I'm on that. Apparently this isn't a coin. Apparently this is just a bullion piece. Apparently it is a round. It's not even a coin. I always thought this was a coin. But then when I looked at it, I was like, wait, it doesn't have a monetary value on it. And this just was brought to my attention yesterday when someone mentioned, when I asked what's your favorite bullion round, someone said the Libertad, and I was like, the Libertad? I thought that's a coin. Apparently it's not, because there's no monetary value listed on it. So interesting. The more you know, the more you know. Yeah, so anyway, the interesting part about 2 is 1, like I said, he has that way of telling a story, right? And this other stacker had a very similar way of telling a story, which again, in hindsight, it's like, wait a second, are these 2 different people? Anyway, this person's channel is called Vertical Stacker, and he was making a lot of content 2 years ago, a year ago. I don't know if he still makes content, but I want to share one video that he made about 2 years ago that really spoke to me when I was, starting my stocking journey. Very interesting, very down to earth, very real story. And I think, honestly, in the stocking community, there's probably a lot of stories like this. It's something straight out of like a movie. It reminded me of one of the Will Smith movies. But I think it's very interesting. Again, it's by Vertical Stacker. I'm going to link it in the comments so that you can take a look at it. It is worth watching the whole video because it really is a good story. And it's really kind of uplifting, and it just makes you think about like how strange life is, and what it is to go through this journey, whether you're a stacker or not. But I think the cool thing is, like I said, in this time of like hype and things like that, where people are watching stocking videos for, like I said, price, investment, that kind of stuff, it's really cool to be able to step back and just get back to the real journey that is the stacking community. It's not just all about the pieces and stuff. Of course, that's that's great. Who doesn't like looking at bullion pieces? As again, we look at this platinum penguin from Perth. But that kind of stuff is important, and it's really cool to kind of get an idea of who's out there, who is in the stocking community, and these people that you're interacting with, trading with, buying from, the stories that they have to share. So take a look, and I hope you enjoy.